So, welcome again to another class. We are discussing continuously about genetics, how genes are inherited from one generation to the next, and we have learnt about Mendelian genetics, what Mendel had studied, how characters are inherited. He did not study genes, he did not study DNA, he did not study any molecule. He just studied the phenotypes, the external characters. On the basis of external characters of the children, and their ratio in the generation, he came to conclusion and he gave two laws. These two laws of law of dominance, law of independent inheritance, and we have studied both of them. We have seen the experiments that led to these conclusions. So in this chapter, in this part of the chapter, the two laws and the crosses are important. That is asked in the examination. So what you have to study in this chapter? You have to study the two crosses. What are the two crosses? 3:1 ratio cross, that is the monohybrid cross, and 9:3:3:1 cross, that is the dihybrid cross. These two crosses, if you study, your this part of the chapter is done. Very well done. So today, let us use Mendelian genetics to study about another phenomenon, that is the sex determination in human beings. In human beings, the sex is determined not by a gene. The sex is not determined by genes. Sex is determined by chromosomes. What is a chromosome? Chromosomes are structures present inside the nucleus which carry DNA, and along with DNA they will also have genes. So chromosomes are present in the nucleus, and different organisms have different numbers of chromosomes in their nucleus. Human beings, how many chromosomes do human beings have in each cell? We have 46 chromosomes. So in every cell of ours, whether you take from head or from feet, in every cell of ours inside the nucleus there are 46 structures. They are known as the chromosomes. So we have 46 chromosomes, but very rarely do we say 46 chromosomes. Usually we say 23 pairs of chromosomes. So we have 23 pairs of chromosomes. Pairs means 2, set of 2. So 23 pairs means 22 sets of 2, that means 46. So we have 23 pairs. Why do we call them 23 pairs? Why not 46 chromosomes? Because if we see all the chromosomes will have one partner. That means they will have another chromosome that looks exactly similar to them. Okay, so every chromosome will have an exact copy of itself. Getting that idea? Every chromosome, let us say a big chromosome like this, chromosome structure is like this. Okay, this is one chromosome, and then this is another chromosome. See the difference between size? Now, when I'm talking about this chromosome will have another chromosome that looks exactly similar to this chromosome. That means in the height and structure and even the DNA sequences that it carries, there will be another chromosome that looks exactly similar to this, and in the whole lot of chromosomes there will be another chromosome that looks exactly similar to this. That's why we call them 23 pairs, because they exist in pairs. Two chromosomes will look exactly identical, and if you go and see their DNA, that DNA will also be almost identical. Okay, so these pairs of chromosomes are called homologous chromosomes. Homologous chromosomes means looking same, they look the same, homologous chromosomes. And in our cell, I was telling you, in our each cell of ours, we have 23 pairs of homologous chromosomes, or 23 chromosomes also you can say. Now out of these 23 pairs, 22 pairs are common in males and females. In males also there will be 22 pairs and they will have almost same genes. In females also there will be same. So these 22 pairs of chromosomes we call the autosomes. What are autosomes? Autosomes are chromosomes which do not carry genes for the sex of the organism. Okay, they are common for males as well as females, but then there is one more pair left. 22 pairs are there are 23 pairs now. So the 23rd pair, the last pair of chromosomes, is known as the sex chromosomes. The last pair of chromosome is known as sex chromosome. The rest 22 of them, 22 pairs of them, they are not carrying genes or not responsible for the sex of the organism. Okay, so in organisms like us or in mammals, there is one set of chromosomes, one set means one pair of chromosomes that is responsible for sex. The whole chromosome is responsible for sex. Okay, but it is not the same for all organisms. There are few organisms in which temperature around the eggs decide whether it will be male or female. Then there are some other animals where the eggs, if they land on some place or if they don't land on some place, the location decides the sex. Strange, no? In some other organisms, does the mother eat? That decides the sex. But in human beings, it does not matter what is the temperature. It does not matter what does the mother eat. It does not matter where is the mother located, because the male and female is determined by the chromosomes, and that too one set of chromosomes. Okay, there are different organisms, and different organisms will have different number of chromosomes. I am talking about human beings. We are interested in human beings. Human beings have 46 chromosomes, 23 pairs. Okay, 23 pairs because one member of each pair comes from each parent. One pair from father, one pair from mother. So father gives 23 chromosomes, mother gives 23 chromosomes, and then they pair up. That's why we get 46 chromosomes. And out of these 46 chromosomes, 22 are known as autosomes, and the last pair of chromosomes is known as sex chromosomes. Now, this sex chromosomes, how does this determine our sex? Let us see. So, sex chromosomes in males, the last pair, the 45th and 46th chromosome, or the 23rd pair of chromosomes, is, we call them X type and Y type chromosomes. The X type and Y type chromosomes, they don't look similar, that's why they are given different names. Okay, so the last pair in males does not look similar, but we call them the sex chromosomes. In male, there are 22 autosomes, 22 pair of autosomes, but the last pair is X and Y type of chromosomes. In females, in human females, there are 22 autosomes, but the 23rd pair is a similar pair. The 23rd pair is a similar pair. Here, the 23rd pair is dissimilar pair. Okay, so now when the males produce gametes, for producing gametes, remember gametes are haploid. They will carry one chromosome from all the 23 pairs. Gametes will carry one chromosome of all the 23 pairs. There are 23 pairs, so there are 46 chromosomes. Out of the 46, gametes will not carry 46 chromosomes. Gametes are haploid. That means they carry half number of chromosomes. Gametes are going to carry only 23 chromosomes, one of each pair. Okay, and same way for the 23rd pair also, one chromosome it's going to carry. So there will be 22 autosomes. Along with that, there will be either X or there will be either Y. So we have males, human being males produce sperm cells. Sperm cells are either X type or X carrying cells, or Y type or Y carrying sperm cells. So there are two types of sperm cells. Don't think there are only two sperm cells. There are millions of sperm cells produced, but out of those millions, 50% is X type, 50% is Y type. So males, human males produce different types of sperms, whereas females do not have option. Female gametes will carry only X type. So the ovum in females has no choice. Ovums are only X type. Got it? So you can see here males produce different types of gametes, whereas females produce only single type of gametes, and we know that in every 28 days the female produces only one gamete. The reason is a lot of detail, we can study that later. Now see, when the ovum is released, the sperm cells, millions of sperm cells have to reach the ovum. Now out of those millions, 50% are X type, 50% are Y type. Which of them will fuse with the ovum is only God can decide, or probability. So if X fuses with the ovum, the X from the sperm and X from the ovum get together, and the 23rd pair of chromosome becomes XX. That means this zygote is going to form a female. Okay, and if Y type of chromosome, it is a Y, if let us say the Y type of sperm cells fuses with the ovum, ovum is always X type. So if the Y type of sperm cells fuses with the ovum, you get an XY combination of 23rd chromosome. So this is going to result in a male. So males and female, whether my child will be boy or a girl, who decides in the case of human beings? Not any children, not any food items that we eat, not anything that we smell or where we live. Okay, in human beings, whether my child will be a boy or a girl is determined by my sperm that is going to fuse with the ovum. It is the sperm that decides uh, whether the child will be boy or girl, because the ovum is surely going to be X type. It is actually the sperm cells, which type of sperm cells that fuses with the ovum determines the sex of the child. Right? So in this cross, we see two observations very clearly. First observation, like I've already told you, that who determines the sex of a child? Okay, it is nature decides whether it is boy or a girl, but then it is the gametes. It is decided by the gametes of the male. Gamete of the female is fixed extent, but it is actually the gametes of the males that is responsible for the sex of a child. So this is the first conclusion we can draw out of this cross. The first conclusion, again I am repeating, is that it is the gametes of the male that determines the sex of the child, not the females. The second conclusion that we can see from this cross is, let us take Mendelian genetics, and these are the parent generation and this is the F1 generation. So we can say that in a population, in the F1 generation, in the next generation, the ratio of males and females should be equal. That means 1:1 ratio. In any population, the ratio of males to females should be 50%, 50%. But in India, it is not the case. Reason for that is not failure of genetics. The reason for that is female infanticide or female feticide. Female infanticide means when a girl child is born, the parents do not want it, they will kill it. So that is called female infanticide. But that happens rarely. Mostly what happens is female feticide. That means if the parents come to know that inside the womb it is a female, the parents will go for abortion, and that is called female feticide, right? So because of this bias in the society, we can't help it. It is the society's thinking is that females cause burden to the family, so they want to get rid of the females. So that is what has caused the imbalance of the sex ratio. In many places in North India, it is for every 1,000 males there are only 900 or even less females. So the ratio is actually 9:10, which is not the way nature designed. Nature designed it for 1:1, 50% males, 50% females, but it is the human interference that has caused the imbalance of the sex ratio. So what has to be done? This does not lead to a healthy society where the male-female ratio is not equal. It leads to a lot of criminal activities. So what did the government do about it? The government kept a statutory ban on sex determination, prenatal sex determination. That means before delivery, with the help of sonography, and there are other methods, no parent or no clinic is allowed to disclose the sex of the child inside the womb. Okay, it is a statutory ban. It is fined heavily. The doctor's license will be taken away if the government comes to know about that in such a particular clinic sex of the child is disclosed. So this was sex determination. In our examination, this cross also is asked, and the conclusions are also asked, or some other social issues related to this cross is asked in the board examination. So this is already you are familiar with this cross. Once again, go into detail of it, look at its consequences, its implications, and get that very clear in your head till we meet in our next class. Have a nice day. Bye.